Tyler Ramos.
Here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy DZ. Shout out to my ATB crew. Long time no see, guys. That was, oh, it looks like I'm blowing out your eardrums. I fixed this before we got on. Hopefully you guys can hear me and I'm not blowing out your eardrums. But ATB crew, long time no see. That ATB episode went pretty late. Sorry about that, guys. But it's okay. It's okay. We're here, and I love going on ATB. It's super fun. We get to see people like Crypto Crow, Army Piper, and Forrest. But, guys, we got an amazing show for you guys tonight. We got a lot to look at here on Bitcoin, as we obviously have gotten a big move up from our recent low. And then we came up a little bit more over the weekend and have created a new range. So we got some new key levels to be taking a look at. And shout out to Crypto Cowboy. What is going on, brother? But guys, we got a lot to look at on Bitcoin. Are we going higher? We got a little bit of a pump today, kind of ate up most of those gains. Are we going lower? Are we going higher? What is going on with Bitcoin? What are the higher time frames looking like? So I want to go ahead and shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. But guys, today I want to obviously take a look at those local levels. What levels of support do we need to hold? Right now, we are flipping an extremely important level of resistance back to support. Now, this could open up the door for a bigger move to the upside and potentially get us back to the range highs around $29,000, maybe even up to $30K and beyond. And we are flipping that level to support right now. We have to hold it. But we do have a lot in the way. So I want to cover everything with you guys tonight. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and say what's up to the CandleMafia real quick, and then go ahead and hop on into the charts. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, who do we got in here? We got Learning. What is going on, Learning? Thank you for being here. We got Gazgano Operator. Fibonacci. What is going on, bro? I like that name. He changed his name a little bit. Shout out to Gazgano. Shout out to Crypto Independent. Said, let's get it. 100x long or short. Go big or I'll go home. And then he said, and wrecked. Shout out to Crypto Independent. Shout out to you, man. Dave Digital said Frankie's going to use Mrs. Candle's inhaler. He'll be right back. No, I'm not using an inhaler today, guys. I've been doing lung workouts. Shout out to Dave Digital. Thank you for being here, bro. Good to see you. Michael Evenchik. Shout out to you, man. Said, been a while since I've been here. Shout out to Michael. Welcome back, dude. Good to see you here. We got Crypto Cowboy in the house. Kenny Orlena. I never know how to say your last name, man. Kenny Ilana. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being here. As always, says, I fondled that like button, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get, you guys get a spin on the Wheel of Pain and Pleasure. And last Friday, we gave away a whole lot of Cardano, and we also gave away some hats and a free month to the Frankie Candles Premium Discord. So smash that like button. Every 100 likes increases your chances of getting multiple giveaways. Shout out to Connor. Shout out to Connor Anderson. Shout out to Jacob. Let's see. We got Dixon in the chat. Shout out to Dixon. Thank you for being here, bro. Horace. What is going on, brother? And Burke in the house. What is going on? Last but not least, guys, we got Mr. T Crypto, Beffed Up, Metabice, and Hodl Crypto in the house. But guys, we got a lot to look at on the charts today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. Trying to find the button on the stream deck. Let's go ahead and jump on in to the charts. Here we go. All right, let's go. Guys, it was one of those days. I don't think I've stopped talking all day. I went from the Premium Discord live stream to record and pre-record right to ATB with very little time in between of not talking. So it feels like I've been live for 6 hours. Shout out to Wix at multiple giveaways. Let's go. Salute to the mods. Shout out to Hodl Crypto. Yeah, I almost forgot, guys. Show our mods some love in the chat. They help us out a ton with the channel, and they are here every single day, no matter what. And they show up for me and you guys, and I appreciate that endlessly. So shout out to them. Show them some love in the chat. And without further ado, shout out to Darren Does Things, and let's go. Here we go, guys. And here we are on the Bitcoin chart. And this was from an explanation that I was looking at in the Premium Discord. So I'm just going to go ahead and clear all this TA. And we're going to start off fresh, guys. I'm going to go ahead and start off on the higher time frames because I feel like it's been a while since we've done a nice check-in on those higher time frames. So let's go ahead up to the weekly and turn off that TA and take a look at what we got going on. Now, taking a look here, guys. On the weekly, this is kind of what we were looking for, right? Weekly VWAP working its way up towards that zero line. This is kind of what I was expecting. Doesn't mean that we're absolutely going. It doesn't mean that we're absolutely going to rip to 100K. But this brings us one step closer to getting that green dot on the weekly chart. And typically, when we get these green dots, guys, hint, hint. Right here was that last weekly green dot that we had before, below the zero line. Wound up giving us a big move to the upside before we got a big dump. And then that next weekly green dot did give us our next leg to the downside, to the upside, right? And I want to talk about this for just a second. I'm actually going to go ahead and pull up the Bitstamp chart so I can have more price history here to work with. And before we jump into the local levels, guys, and kind of what I'm expecting to happen in the next couple days or so, I want to take a look at this macro, kind of the macro outlook here, right? Now, I want to take a look kind of at this area right here. Now, again, number one, VWAP coming back up. This is a pretty decent sign. Now, once we got this big move up, basically from the bottom of this bear market, if this was the bottom, at least the current low that we have right now, we got this big move up, and then we came back down to test a very, very key level of support, which was previously a very key level of resistance, and that was essentially right here at our let me just clear all this stuff up to make it nice and clean for you guys. I could probably just delete it, but I'm going to hide it. But you can see here, we wound up getting that FTX collapse right here, and we kind of came up, tried to come back up, and then we got rejected, came to the downside. And you can see once we broke out of this level, you guys will remember, this had us feeling pretty bullish, right? Once we got this move up, got above this level, this was kind of our key level at the time that I was saying, hey, if we could flip this level to support, guys, I'd start to feel really, really good about a continued move to the upside. And then we wound up coming down, tap that level, got another pump, put in a technically put in a higher high there, but we got that perfect tap as turning that resistance into support, and we held it perfectly, right? And then we got that big move down, and then we wicked below it and really put it to the test, but we snapped right back above it, guys, and we closed the candle above this level, and that is where we got that weekly green dot to give us our next move or our next leg to the upside. Now, what happened here when you break it down in simple terms? We approached a key level of resistance, broke it, flipped it to support, and then got our next leg up. So we broke out, getting our first leg up, flipped that key level of resistance to support. That's where we got our second leg up, and it was accompanied by a green dot on the weekly. Now, I want to compare this to what is going on right now because we are seeing something kind of similar happen. but we're not flipping this level of resistance to support. However, we have potentially flipped this level of resistance to support. I'm actually going to get rid of this one, right? Just so we can focus on the one that we need to. If I could pick the right tool here. There we go. Now, you can see strong, monumental resistance here, guys. Like, really strong resistance. Couldn't get back above it. Couldn't really get above it. Couldn't get above it. And then, bang, we flipped it with this. Again, this was our next leg to the upside. And then we came back down, and we have now tested that level as support, which makes you wonder, right? If we get that green dot on the weekly, is that potentially where we could get our next leg to the upside, potentially putting in another higher high? I think it's possible. The weekly is what I am looking at to see if we can get that to actually happen. And it's just, it's kind of the same song and dance, right? Because we got above that key level of resistance, we've come down, tapped it, and now we are looking to potentially print another green dot here. And if we do wind up getting that green dot, could we wind up getting that next leg to the upside, potentially targeting some higher prices such as $33,000? Potentially. I think it is in the cards here, guys. We have held this level as support, and this is a key level for more than one reason, right? Like, not only are you holding above this key level which was once resistance, but I also want to go ahead and pull up that 200-week moving average and see where that is lying. We see where that's lying today, right? Because we finally had a new weekly candle, and here we are, right? We are now attempting to break above this 200-week moving average. Obviously, we lost it yesterday. We lost it a couple weeks ago, and then we we broke it on the week of the 5th, and then we remained above it below it last week, and now we are coming up. And two things can happen here, guys, and it is pretty important. Oh, God. Shout out to Dave Digital. But now we are above it, and now two things can happen here, right? We are either going to get back above this, close our candle above, and then we will then be above the 200-week moving average, which, in my opinion, would be very, very, very bullish and would definitely aid us at that point. If we do close that weekly candle above here, it's likely that we will get that weekly green dot at the end of this week, and that could potentially give us a move back up to our range highs that we'll take a look at in just a second. But we have to be careful, guys. Number one, because just because we are above the 200-week right now does not mean that we have to close the candle here. We can get a big dump, close our candle below, and this will then look like a very obvious breakdown, bearish retest, and then rejection, right? So we have to be careful of that happening. But with our weekly VWAP coming up, looking for that green dot, I do think there's a possibility of closing this candle above and potentially getting a bigger move to the upside. And again, we're going to talk about the targets of where I think we can come, potentially up here close to about, I drew that line pretty close to where I wanted to, $29,600, $29,000, $29,000 almost even here. Obviously, we do have a range here, but we're going to take a look at those actual key levels in just a second. But from a zoomed out perspective, guys, I want you to understand that not only have we broken out of the key level of resistance, but we have also now tested it as support. And the last time we did do that on a high time frame with a green dot looking to print very soon, we did get that next leg to the upside. Now, on top of that, I know a lot of people are thinking like, oh, it's a bear market. Like, how can you possibly think we're going to go higher than this? This must just be a fake out and we're coming back to the downside. Now, those people are not crazy. However, you have to understand, I'm not going to cover this for very long because I cover it all the time. But you guys can see here, if I go ahead and if we grab our measuring tool and we go ahead and measure this bear market rally in 2019, where we hit about 14K, we came up about 350%, right? Right now, we are only up 100%, right? So we've got, which is a big move, right? We got that big move, but we have had a cool off now, right? We got a cool off here before continuing higher, and now we've gotten another cool off. So if we are going to see something similar to this 2019 bear market rally, this could be what we're looking at, right? You got a leg up, cool off. Leg up, cool off. We may be on the verge of another leg up. And again, it is going, our eyes are going, my eyes personally are glued to the 200-week moving average because I think that is going to hold kind of the answers, right? And just, weekly shaping up, right? Money flow kind of flat here. I would like to see this start curving up. But again, it's going to take time to get this money flow to move because we only print a new candle every week. So what we could kind of do here is go down to these lower daily time frames, or the the time frame's lower than the weekly, at least. 6 days not really a lower daily time frame, but it's lower than the weekly. But we could kind of look at these the money flow on these time frames and see if those are coming up as well. Because if those start to come up, we can expect that to leak on into the weekly, which could help us kind of figure out if we think this green dot is going to print and give us a big move up. And then if we do, and I do think we can get a big pump up, guys, but I am not going to be getting super, super bullish just yet, and I'll show you a simple reason why. But on the 6 day, you can see here, we have gotten the money flow crossover, guys. And we are so close to printing that green dot. I will say this, guys. This is something we were looking at last week on the live streams, saying, hey, 6 day money flow creeping up. We came into the green, back into the red, but this was just a higher low. If you do not know if your money flow is coming up or not, what you can do is just simply draw a trend line, right? You kind of got faked out into the green, back into the red, but from this low here, you are clearly making higher lows and trending to the upside, which is why I expected this to be a fake out, and the fact that we had the VWAP coming up as well as the money flow made me think it was likely that we were going to get a push back up into the green. Now, this might have been a different story if our money flow came into the green, then back into the red, and the VWAP was coming down. Then I would expect to get pushed possibly deeper into the red. But with that VWAP backing us up, coming to the upside with that money flow, I was expecting this crossover into the green, and this is definitely a good sign for the weekly money flow specifically to continue to curve up there. And if that does happen, guys, it might wind up being a pretty big deal. Now, again, so looking at the weekly, I would like to see this money flow shape up, right? And I'm going back to this so you guys can learn. Money flow is flat. I'd like to see this come up, but because I have to wait so long to see this money flow wave move, I am going down a time frame to see if the 6 day may be foreshadowing, and it does look like it might be. So as we move into the week, guys, and we on Sunday look to print another weekly candle, I will look for this money flow to curve to the upside with the VWAP, right? We also have the VWAP on our side on the weekly, just like we did on the 6 day. Now, coming back to the 5 day, this has kind of just been the oddball out, right? Like the 6 day looks beautiful. The 5 day looked terrible. But look what is going on here. Look how much, we talked about this as well on the live stream. Look how much time we spent in the red here. Then we came into the green and then back into the red. But where's the VWAP, guys? Very similar to the 6 day. Now, this did not look as good as the 6 day, as this is basically textbook. This is what you want money flow to look like, really, right? Like, preferably, you'd rather not have any fake outs and just have even higher lows, just more preferably, just a round curve to the upside. But this looks very good. 5 day kind of looked bearish here, but with our VWAP coming up and our money flow coming back up, I do think this might be some kind of a fake out into the red as well, but it's too soon to tell, right? But with the VWAP coming up, I do think you could potentially get back into the green, but definitely not as clear as the 6 day. But coming down to the 4 day, money flow kind of coming out, but you are still in the green, so it's not the worst look. I would like to see this money flow wave come back up, but we are printing a green dot now on the 4 day, which could drag that money flow back up. And then coming on to the 3 day, this is kind of what I wanted to see on the 4 day. We do have a green dot, we do have a green dot on the 3 day. Money flow coming back up. I'd like to see that leak into the 4 day. I'd like to see that money flow start to come back up. And then again, 5 day is already on its way back up as we are curving back potentially into the green, and then that 6 day just really looks good. And if you look at the past here, guys, like you can see, like we've spent a significant amount of time on the 6 day in the red. Like even back here in the bear market of 2018, we did not spend that much time in the red. And if you measure this, right, from crossover to crossover, about 233 days. And back here in the current times, right here, like until that recent crossover we just got, 509 days. Now, it doesn't mean that because we spent, and it doesn't mean that we can't spend more time in the red. But if you think about it, these money flow crossovers have been what is the word I'm looking for? They've been pretty evident, I guess, but they've basically been pointing to bottom of bear markets, right? On the 6 day, even on the weekly, right? You spend time in the red, that's essentially the bottom of the bear market. I talk about this all the time, right? Money flow comes back in the red on the 6 day and the weekly. Basically, you're at the bottom of the bear market, and then once you cross over, you stay in the green until the halving in the next bull run. And here we are back in the red, but not only back in the red, like if we are going by those same rules, this could have potentially been the bottom of the bear market. And again, I don't want this to be like, oh my God, I'm calling the bottom 100K tomorrow, but I'm just simply looking at the money flow here, and it is, in line, right? Like red money flow, bottom of the bear market, red money flow, bottom of the bear market, red money flow, potentially the bottom of the bear market, and now we are crossing into the green. And one thing I want you guys to realize here is once we crossed into the green, it wasn't off to 100K, right? It was, or 69, I should say. But we did wind up getting a sustained pump here, right? We were in the red, got that crossover. Coincidentally, on that crossover in 2019, right, we had gotten a pump from the bottom to that crossover, which was right about here, about 130%. And then as that money flow crossed over, we got our next leg up. But it wasn't off to 69K, right? We wound up getting an equally sizable dump, right? So, again, I'm not saying we're going to hit 100K anytime soon. And then you got a 53% dump. I'm not counting the March 2020 dump because that was a black swan. But you got that nice pump, and then you wind up cooling off. But for the most part, you were bottomed out, right? That was the bottom of the bear market. Time to accumulate, right? I mean, ideally, you would want to accumulate when the money flows in the red. Shout out to anybody who's been watching my channel since we started. This was like one of the earlier videos we put out where I would be looking to accumulate in the bear market. But you can easily come down, right? So we have room to potentially pump and then come back down. But essentially, you kind of have this kind of long period where you're essentially just kind of ranging sideways, right? Again, other than this pandemic wick, right? I was kind of trying to avoid saying that word. But before that kind of March 2020 dump, we all know what was going on here. Essentially, it was a sideways accumulation phase. You were stuck at these lows between like 7 and 10K, right? It basically was where you were stuck at for quite some time, right? Stuck there for quite some time, about 443 days, right? So, we could wind up seeing something like that happen. But I just kind of wanted to point that out. This money flow crossover on the 6-day could be a pretty decently big deal. So again, it's not all bulls and butterflies right now, but that is kind of the bullish case. We have come down and tested a very important level of support with money flow crossing over into the green with a beautiful trigger wave right here. Once that green dot winds up printing, guys, this is a fat anchor wave with a tiny little trigger wave. Sometimes that can give you a big move, right? And I'm not telling everybody to buy throw all your money in right now, but definitely not financial advice. But I'm just kind of trying to compare this to the past, and obviously this has worked out in the past before. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in the macro. Very important support resistance flip right here, and could wind up being a potentially strong bottom, right? Not the bottom, right? Doesn't mean that I'm saying we'll never go below 25K again, because you could see here, right? Like we got that big pump up right here, right? And we wound up breaking all those lows and basically double bottoming here, right? So it's not impossible to come back down and double bottom. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But as of right now, this is a strong case for another move to the upside, at least for the bull case. This is kind of the strong time frame to be looking at. This is if I'm bullish on any time frame, it's the 6-day right here for multiple reasons, right? Not just the green dot, not just the trigger wave, not just the money flow, not just the anchor wave, not just the fact that we're above this resistance level. It's all these things together, right? It's not just one signal we're looking at, right? So with that being said, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Again, keeping a close eye on that 200-week moving average, which we are fighting very, very aggressively right now, looking to flip that to support. And that's going to be kind of our key level, kind of the same thing we've been looking at, right? But let's go ahead, and I want to go ahead and move on down to our local levels here and kind of take a look at what we got. Let me go ahead and pull up the live stream, zoom in here, come to a lower time frame, and let's go ahead and dig in. But yeah, let me get rid of this trade. Bada boom. Shout out to the premium Discord. But here we go, right? So we are coming up against a pretty important level of resistance. And obviously we got this big move up, guys. And we talk about this a lot. And we talk about how we basically look at the markets in terms of ranges, right? That's how we were able to catch this short before we got a dump. We were just looking simply for shorts at our value area high, which was this level right up here we were looking at. We were just looking at this as a sideways range, looking for a small scalp from the high to the low of the range, and then we broke down and turned it into a home run trade. Same way we got into this trade, we were looking at the sideways range, shorting the high. It wound up breaking down for a bigger move. Same thing right here. We were looking at this as a sideways range, shorted the high, got a massive breakdown move, and so on and so forth, right? This is how we catch these trades. Now, we got that big move up, right? These days were kind of weird because we had a little micro range here, but we have finally created somewhat of a tangible range up here on the hourly time frame, and this is kind of what I'm looking at. And I'll actually pull up that fresh chart one more time, and I'll just look at this with fresh eyes, right? Go ahead and turn off Market Cipher A to clean things up. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our 200-week moving average, or our 200-period moving average. And this is kind of the range I am looking at locally right now, guys, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull this from here to here. And you can see we have our highs, lows, and midpoint of the range in pink here. And yeah, where are we expecting Bitcoin to kind of go in the medium term, right? So these are kind of the local levels that I am looking at. I will give you guys some more in just a second. But we have our high, our point of control in the middle, or kind of in the middle, and then our value area low at the bottom. Now, taking a look at the daily, I want to look at the indicators real quick before I dig deeper into the key levels. And you can see here, right? We got the green dot, we got the big move up, and now our VWAP is starting to roll over on the daily. So this, I mean, I would be watching this. We're likely not going to get the red dot today, probably tomorrow or the next day. But taking a look at some of the higher hourly time frames, you can see here, VWAP coming to the downside. Money flow actually still curving out here. Taking a look at the 12-hour, looking very similarly. Got a little bit of support on the zero line with money flow coming out. I would be looking for the next significant move down to happen on the 12 and 16-hour red dots. Just like, you know, when we were coming down, I was looking at this green dot being kind of the start of a bigger move to the upside, right? Saying, I say this stuff all the time, so I like to, you know, like when I say, like, I wouldn't expect the next big move down to happen at the next 4-hour red dot or the next 4-hour green dot for the next move up. A lot of times it does wind up working out, right? This was what we were looking at on Friday, saying, hey, if we get a green, I wouldn't expect another decent move to the downside until we get that next 4-hour red dot. We got that 4-hour red dot, and that did mark. You know, it wasn't clean, right? Like we got the red dot here. So I'll just put a vertical line there to mark it out, right? We got the red dot here. We actually wound up coming up, but we wound up coming up and then dumping, right? So we wound up, that is our next move down, which was only about 1%. But that was our next sizable move down, was on that 4-hour red dot. But now what I'm looking at here, guys, is the 4-hour VWAP starting to cool off. Money flow in the green, right? This is why we were looking for longs. We talked about it all last week, saying, hey, I don't want to dig into this too much because I've covered this a lot in the past 2 weeks, but I'll cover it very shortly. You guys will know that and I think this is important, if you want to learn how to trade, and you have to identify your environment. It's one of the most important things. You do not want to trade against the macro trend. And when we got this money flow crossover into the red on the daily right here, this is where I was, or actually was back a little bit more, right here. This is where we were short from here, right? I shorted this level. We came to the bottom, and as money flow crossed over into the red, I made the trading decision to be more interested in shorting lower highs rather than looking for giant long positions, right? Even with this daily bullish divergence where you have higher lows on your momentum waves and lower low on your price actions, or lower lows on your price action, that's a daily bull div. Typically a very bullish signal. But if you watch the channel or you're in the Discords, you'll know that we did actually look to long this, but we were not looking for this to be a very big move because of the money flow being in the red. And what we did instead was we scalped the move to the upside and then looked for a short at this lower high, and we knew that the lower high was likely to come in there because of the local golden pocket, which was sitting right here. We knew that if we were going to put in that lower high, it would likely be at that local golden pocket. And because the money flow on the daily was in the red, I was looking to short the lower highs, right? So we shorted here, came down. I think I actually closed that trade in full here, which was a good trade, but would have been nicer if we wrote it all the way down here. But we got that short down here. Money flow crossed in the red. I flipped bearish. Now I'm more interested in shorts, right? It's not because I feel bearish or I feel like Bitcoin's going to come down more, right? Like that doesn't exist. You need to get that kind of thought process out of your head, especially if you're going to be trading, right? Like nobody cares, especially Bitcoin does not care if you feel like we're going to reject or you feel like we're going to bounce. It needs to be based off of information. Now, at that point, with the money flow coming to the downside, we have already put in a high, a low, and a lower high, creating a downtrend. And then we put in a lower low, right? So now we're in a downtrend, right? We're in a downtrend. And I expected the downtrend to continue. And the way I was able to do that was by seeing the money flow, right? Money flow came in the red. I knew the downtrend was likely to continue. And then we were looking to short lower highs, short lower highs, short lower highs. And I don't remember if we shorted that one. But all last week, we were talking about, hey, we're coming down to some strong support, and we don't want to be the last bear screaming, send it to zero, right? We don't want to be those last bears. So we have to, as money flow on the high, actually, on the medium time frames, 4-hour money flow started cruising to the upside. This is where we said, hey, we might have to invert that thought process and start looking for longs at higher lows. Not looking to short the lower high, short the lower high, short the lower high, short the lower high, but put in a low, long the higher low. Maybe long the higher low, right? And we just flip that strategy on its head, right? Just do the inverse. So, which wound up being a pretty good idea, right? Or a good strategy or a good decision, right? Because money flow came back up on the 4-hour. We wound up getting a little bit more movement to the upside. We kind of just bing-bonged around. We did get a little push up today. But money flow came into the green on the 4-hour. That was something we were looking at to look for longs. And then just the higher time frames here, like the 6-hour was looking really good. 6-hour was starting to come up. We actually have started to come back out, but we are continuing up, right? It is all about the trend of the money flow, right? Look at that. Higher low. This could just trend to the upside, right? This would indicate, if this continues to come up, that the trend will continue to the upside. So we will continue to look to long, higher lows. It doesn't mean that you can't short. You're just not going for the home run shorts, right? You're not looking to hold the short down to zero. You're looking to scalp the short until you come to support or a higher low, and then you might want to flip long and then hold that long. You would want to be more greedy with the longs. I'm going to start saying it like that. Right now, I would be a little bit more greedy with the longs than the shorts, where on this whole move to the downside, or this entire money flow wave being in the red to the downside, we were favoring lower highs or favoring longs or being more being more greedy with the shorts. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But at this point, with money flow continuing to come up on the daily here, we have to assume that even if this VWAP comes down and gives us a red dot, right? If we get a move up, let's say we get another move up, right? And then as we come down, we're looking to print a red dot on the daily, but money flow is still trending to the upside. This is where we would expect this red dot on the daily to give us a small move down, potentially put in a higher low, and then that's what we would look to long, right? So we're just flipping our bias from the past 3 weeks from bearish to bullish, right? We're just looking for the same thing in the opposite direction. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But we do have our daily money flow continuing to come up here just a bit. Nothing really too aggressive. But again, we would expect that to potentially continue, especially with the hourly time frames, right? Like your 4 hours in the green, your 5-hour just crossed over into the green, and your 6-hour is kind of curving up here, right? So just some things to keep an eye on. Now, locally, I will say this. We are coming up to some interesting resistance, which I will go ahead and pull up here, right? Why is this an interesting point of resistance? Let's go ahead and zoom out and find out why. We'll let the volume profiles load, right? We have a local golden pocket. We have the point of control of our macro range, which we're going to touch on in a second because we did something interesting here, guys. Do you see? Did something interesting specifically right here. This is interesting to me, and I think you guys know why, and we're going to talk about it in a second. However, why are we expecting resistance here? Well, it is the point of control of our macro range. We also have a golden pocket in here, right? So we're just naturally expecting resistance at the point of control. We know it's a high volume node. We know we get resistance at those levels. But what's the bullish thing here, guys? We have flipped this level right here at $26,221, give or take, which is the value area low of our macro range. Let me get rid of that moving average so it's cleaner, right? The value area low of our macro range here has now been flipped to support. This is a pretty good sign because what do we always say? Looking at the shout out to Rob the Crypto Snod said almost 500 viewers didn't hit the like button. I thought he said we had 500 viewers, and I'm like, I'm showing 952. But speaking of Rob and the like button, shout out to the 952 people in here right now getting the Frankie Candle sauce. Smash that like button if you guys are learning something. Smash that like button if you like babies. Smash that like button if you like puppies. And if you don't like puppies, I don't know. I don't know. Who doesn't like puppies? Anyway, but what are we looking at here, guys? We talk about the volume profiles all the time, and what do we always say? If you break back above the value area low, flip it to support, that could potentially open the door to come up to not only your POC, but if you flip that POC to support, it could wind up giving you a bigger move up to your, this is a next level of resistance, but it will likely give you a move back to the highs of your range, and this macro range is sitting at about $28,688. So if we can continue to hold support, which right now, guys, it's almost like it happened Like, let me pull up the fresh chart again just so I can clear things off. And I hope pulling up these clean charts really helps you guys. Let's go to the daily time frame and just look at that macro range. This is the macro range we are looking at. This is what you want to see. We lost the range, bearishly retested and rejected. We were able to catch some nice trades here based off that information. But if we were looking to get, if someone said, hey, Frankie Candles, right? And they said, hey, we're dumping right now, right? Bitcoin is pretty bleak. We're dumping to the downside. We've lost our range, right? This looks very bearish. We've lost our range. We obviously had our levels of support down here, which you guys will be familiar with. And we were looking for support at these previous highs, right? And people are saying, like, what do we need to get back up to 29K? Well, simply by just looking at the volume profile, what I would say is we need to get a heavy bounce here. If we get a heavy bounce, I would look for a potential rejection at that value area low. If we get rejected at that value area low, I would expect to come a little bit lower. But if you want to get 29K, you need to come back up above. I'm going to put a line here. You need to come back up above that value area low. And if you could flip that value area low to support, that is where you're looking to come back up to your range highs up here at about $29,000, right? 28.6. It moves depending on what exchange you're looking at or what time frame you're looking at, but that's what you're looking for. You need to get above that value area low to then attack the POC and then eventually the value area high. And we know once you hold support here, and then obviously, like, I know this is what happens, but this is how I would draw it. It's almost happening like textbook, right? You rip up here, flip it to support, and then you get a move right to the POC, and you're seeing resistance there as you would expect on that POC. Now, our next battle is to get above that point of control, right? Get back above that point of control. If we can get back above it, hold it to support, that's where I would expect this level to come in. Again, at $28,000, $29,000 is kind of what I would look at, again, depending on the exchange you're looking at. And depending on where you have the range pulled from, right? If you pull it from, if you pull it from here, if you pull it from these highs here, you're probably going to get different levels, right? It comes down a bit. But this is the range that I'm looking at, right? And the fact that we have flipped that level to support is extremely bullish in my opinion, at least as of right now. Now, what happens if we get that move to the upside? What happens if we get that move all the way up to our range high? Well, we're going to do the same thing we do on the lower time frames. Should we be looking, right? And I would be looking to long higher lows. Again, if money flow keeps coming up, we are in an uptrend. And with the money flow coming up, it would indicate that the uptrend will continue, right? And if that is the case, we are going to be looking to long higher lows because those are the higher probability trades. We could still look for scalp shorts on the lower time frames, but we are being more greedy with the longs because we are with the trend, right? So what happens, okay, so what happens if we come back up to this range high, guys? We have to be careful because if you zoom out, like let's look at the weekly, right? Everything is about context. If we clear this, right? We've gotten a big move up, right? I mean, you could even consider this whole thing a big move up, and now we've gotten somewhat of a significant move down, right? And you guys know, when we look to short those lower highs, you wait for the high to come in, wait for the low to come in, and then you wait for some kind of a bounce so you have a high and a low to pull your fib from. So where would I expect this to reject from if the downtrend will continue? Because technically, we're kind of in an uptrend still, but if price comes up, what would be a likely place to reject? And we talk about this all the time, guys. It's just on the higher time frame. Come to the weekly, from the high of the wick to the low of the wick, we have to be careful of this golden pocket 786 Fibonacci retracement area, right? These two levels are going to be very, very important because we know if we are going to just turn this into a downtrend and put in a lower high and reject to the downside, we know that this golden pocket 786 Fib retracement level is a likely place for that to happen. 786 coming in at about $29,747. Shout out to the 747s. I don't know why I said that, but this is going to be a potentially likely place for price to reject from. So when we get up to these highs, I will be very cautious. What is money flow looking at that point? What is money flow looking like? Is it looking bullish, or does it look like is this weekly VWAP looking to roll back over and print a red dot with money flow coming out? If that's the case, I'd be looking for a heavy short up here. But if money flow in the weekly is getting close to crossing over into the green, and we have a green dot on the weekly maybe, it's very hard to tell what it's going to look like up there. But once we get to this level, I'm going to be very careful because it is a 786 golden pocket retracement level. And we know price likes to put lower highs in there. So I would say in the medium term, when looking at that daily money flow, when looking at the 10-hour money flow, the 5-hour money flow, right? Money flow starting to come up, what I was just going over. in that term, in the medium term, it does look pretty good. We flipped the value area low to support. Money flow is kind of starting to come up. I would like to see it really start to ramp up a little bit, but if we wind up getting the money flow to continue up, I do think that we could easily get a move back up to our range highs. And if we pull a range here, bada boom, bada bing, you could see that value area high of our range is coming in beautifully with that golden pocket level. So it is going to be a very big level of resistance. We're already going to be looking for shorts up there because we're at the highs of the range. But the fact that we have the local golden pocket and the 786 here to potentially put a lower high in, this would be more of your bear case, right? If we're not going to get that rip up to 33K, and this is just going to be a little fake out pump before putting in a macro lower high and starting a macro downtrend back to the downside, this is exactly what I would be looking for, and we're just giving it all away for free. But there you go, guys. That's enough sauce for today. I'm just kidding. But let's see. But that's what I would be looking for, guys. Now, you have to understand it's all about the context, right? People always ask me, is it going up or down? Are we talking about in the next 5 minutes? Are we talking about in the next hour? Are we talking about the day, the week, the month? What are we talking about here, right? So in the medium term, I will look for a potential continued move to the upside because look at this, guys. Look at it. We're holding back above the value area low. This is lit, right? This is it. The candle is lit, guys. We are back in the value area, and just based off the volume profiles, we would expect to eventually get back up to the value area high, even if we bing bong around a little bit, right? But because as long as we hold above this value area low, I will be looking for a potential move up to that value area high. But again, that's in the longer term, right? We can have pumps and dumps all in between that. So just make sure you know that, right? So there you go. That is kind of the macro outlook for me on Bitcoin. I feel like on Mondays I go a little bit on a tangent on Bitcoin because I got to fill you guys in on what happened. But there you go. Long term, pretty bullish kind of cases here, or bullish puzzle pieces. Holding above the macro value area low, definitely a good sign to get back up to the range highs. We are starting to try to get back above that 200-week moving average. Money flow on the 6-day looks really good, especially with that trigger wave right here. That is definitely looking, if we can get that green dot, that would be a really, really nice aid to get another move back up. And all this stuff kind of points to potentially coming back up to that range high. But I just want everyone to realize that it doesn't mean that we're automatically going to new all-time highs. We can get that big move up and then just reject here, put in a lower high on the higher time frames, start a downtrend, and then move back lower. But we're just here. That fondle button is creepy. Shout out to the fondle button, guys. But this is basically what I'm looking at, guys. And then coming down to the lower time frames here, I'll give you kind of more of the local levels that I am keeping an eye on, and I'll just bring them up. I'll just find them live with you guys because I think there is some kind of value there for you guys, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and come on to the 4-hour time frame, right? And we have our macro range here, right? Pulled through basically this whole movement here. And that is basically the level we're holding. Oh, wait, let me actually move this to here. But that is basically, that is the level that I was just talking about. And let me extend that to the right so it's current level. And this is the key level, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the chart. I'm going to go ahead and change this to, actually, no. I'm going to change this to key, right? Key value area low. The reason it's a key value area low is because it's the value area low of the macro trend and could hold us back from a big move to the upside, which brings us to our value area high, which is going to be a big level of resistance to watch. And I'm just going to label that value area high, and then our point of control is right here. Go ahead and label that point of control, right? So these are basically, these are kind of macro-ish levels. Medium-term levels is kind of what I would call this. But this is important, right? Because this is a very key level that we've been watching. It's now been flipped to support, which could give us open the door or make room to come up here to about 28.5, 29K, right? And then kind of breaking in a little bit deeper here, I will also more locally, that's kind of, that is kind of your key levels, right? That is really like the levels you need to be watching, because if we lose this value area low, that opens the door for more downside, right? And then obviously we have levels down here that we've been looking at. Well, I could go into those in just a second, but there you go. These are kind of the major levels I would be looking at, right? And then you could look at local fibs. Obviously there is likely going to be one right here on the point of control of the range. It's actually, I like this fib way better. So there you go, right? Even if you pull it up to the high, we even tap that golden pocket almost to the dollar here, right? So whether you're looking at this one, this one, or even that one, you're either testing the 786 or the golden pocket, right? So definitely a decent level of definitely some decent resistance within this point and control kind of range, right? So we can kind of mark that out with a little bit of a range. There you go. Boom, right? So we are coming up to interesting resistance, and I don't think it's impossible to cool off here, right? 2-hour potential bearish divergence popping up, right? So if we wind up printing a divergence here, could give us a local cool off. And then again, finding these sideways ranges, you can also pull your your local ranges within your bigger ranges, right? Like you can pull these ranges on any time frame. And when you're looking at something like the 1 hour, this is kind of the range that I would be looking at, right? We are deviating away from the high, right? Away from the value area high, potentially putting in some bearish divergence, which could wind up cooling us off, right? You're also getting it on the 3 hour here. Money flow is coming up, right? So if I was looking for a short up here, I would be looking to make it a scalp position, right? 4 hour VWAP also starting to work its way back to the downside. So not impossible to cool off a little bit here. But again, money flow is coming up, right? So it's not like one of those top marking bearish divergences that we see where we have bullish divergence with money flow coming up or a bearish divergence with money flow coming down. Those typically mark macro or very important lows and very important highs. Like you can see right here, we did technically, this wasn't the cleanest setup here, but we did right here technically put in a bullish divergence. Where are we? Right here. Lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves with your money flow coming up. When you have that confluence where your money flow is coming up, your bullish divergence is forming, and it's on something like a 4 hour time frame. This is the 2 hour, but I think we actually did have it on the 4 hour as well. Not the cleanest setup. I thought we were looking at the 4 hour. This is more what I was looking at. Not the cleanest divergence, right? Because you have to pull it all the way from back here, but you did get lower lows. You did get higher lows. Money flow was also coming up. This marks a significant low. When you have that confluence, it can mark a very key low before a big move to the upside. Same thing with the divergences to the downside. You have right here at 31K at the very top. We put a setup in the premium Discord to go short here. And the reason being, the reason why I was very confident, other than the very key levels of resistance we were coming up to, which I won't go into, we also had money flow on top of the bearish divergence. You have your lower high in your momentum waves. You get the bearish divergence. Look at the money flow. Money flow also coming to the downside. That was letting us know that this might be the start of a like that might be the top for now, right? And we might get a big move to the downside. So I do just want to bring that up because this divergence would not be like these examples. It's not like we're coming up to a key level with a bearish divergence and money flow tanking, right? Like that would be like, hey, we're probably going to put in a lower high here. I would look for a lower low to come in. I'm not saying that. I'm just looking for a potential correction before putting in a potential higher low and continuing to the upside. Number one, because we're above the value area high, which is our key level. And number two, because of money flow. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. That is what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. And hopefully you guys are able to make some use of this information and incorporate it into your own trading strategy to hopefully make yourself a little bit more profitable. But that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin, guys. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you guys for smashing that like button. If you have not already, smash that like button, guys. Sometimes we give away free memberships to the premium Discord. And sometimes we give away free Frankie Candles hats, but every week we do give away free crypto, guys. So shout out to the Candle Mafia. Smash that like button if you guys have not already. Every 100 likes you get, you guys get or every 100 likes we get, you guys get a spin on the wheel of pain and pleasure. More spins, more chances for giveaways. All right, let's go ahead and just jump right into chat super quick. And then if you guys want to see me do some TA on your favorite altcoins, go ahead and throw them in chat right now. Rob the Crypto Snob will go ahead and count up the votes and let us know what altcoins we're going to be taking a look at. And until then, I'm going to say what's up to chat, and I will start off with Ethereum and the DXY. But let's see. Let's see. All right, shout out. Let's see. John Wayne says, show the like button some love. Shout out to John Wayne. We got I'm My Hero in the chat said, oh, God, I think someone was in here spamming. Yeah, shout out to I My Hero. Said you bought I guess someone said they bought 1,000 Bitcoin. We got a whale in the chat, guys. Let's see. Ted says he wants to see Sui USDT. Maybe we could take a look at Sui. I might make a pre-recorded. I might make a video about Sui pretty soon. Let's see. It's all a trap. It might be. Let's see. Oh, shout out to Thomas Everett. Says, hi, Frankie. How did you get that money flow on your indicator? Mine doesn't have it. Shout out to Thomas. This is Market Cipher. If you are looking at Market Cipher, you definitely should have this money flow. If you don't have Market Cipher and you're interested in getting it, you can check our link in the description down below. We have a discount code where I think you can save either 10 or 20% off. But yeah, you can go ahead and check that. This is Market Cipher, specifically Market Cipher B. So yeah, if you're interested in checking that out, I actually would suggest maybe watching my Market Cipher tutorial first to see if you're interested, or if you've been watching the live streams and you're liking the indicator, you can go ahead and check it out for yourself. Let's see. We will be taking a look at XRP. Oh, here come the altcoins, baby. Let's go. Let's see. Okay, shout out to Bullish on Parade. Says, Frankie, as your lawyer and specialty doctor, I need you to say not financial advice and for educational purposes only. Thank you, Bullish on Parade. And as you guys know, this is all just for entertainment purposes. And if you learn something, that's great. It's definitely not financial advice, and it is just for entertainment, guys. I am not a financial advisor, nor do I ever try to look like one or pretend to be one. I am simply not. I always say that. Please do not copy trade anybody, not just me. Don't copy trade anybody. It is not good for your wallet. It is not good for your account, and it is likely not to be successful for you. And if you are successful doing that, shout out to you, because you literally don't have to do anything ever. You can just wait for someone to tell you to buy and sell. And please let me know who you're copy trading, because I would like to set a bot up and not ever have to trade or work again. That would be lit. Shout out to Tyler Durden, said DXY. Dang it, Frankie, this is a family show. Oh, hey, shout out to Tyler Durden. I appreciate you for being here, bro. We'll keep it covered up. Don't worry, we're not gonna expose too much. XRP, we will take a look at. Multi-sig dummy in the chat said, smash that like, fool, or I'll short you to 100x. And you don't want a multi-sig dummy shorting you. Shout out to multi-sig. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Kryptonic said, hey, Frankie, if USDT or USDC fail and cease to exist, does that mean I wouldn't be able to sell my crypto, being that I used USDT to purchase them? No, that should not hold you back. You should be able to sell it for something else at least, or swap it for something. Shout out to Kryptonic. Hopefully that helps you out. Not financial advice. All right, let's see. Frankie, could you not say you're not a financial advisor? My coworkers all think you are, and they won't like hearing that. Shout out to Connor Anderson. I am not a financial advisor. I'm sorry, Connor. I really want to help you out there, but Bullish on Parade, who is my lawyer, won't let me. So you're going to have to take it up with Bullish. All right, guys. With all that being said, while I almost said Crypto Anon. Shout out to Crypto Anon. While Rob the Crypto Snob is counting up those votes. Shout out to Connor Anderson. You're funny, man. While we do that, let's go ahead and check out Ethereum as well as the DXY. We're going to start off with the DXY, and yeah, shout out to Dynastic Wolf, said, I copy trade Gensler. He shorts a lot. Interesting. Doesn't surprise me. Yeah. Thank you, Frankie. No problem. Kryptonic. Hopefully that helps you out, man. Yeah, no one here ever trades real money, bro. We all have these funny Frankie Candles dollars you get through the U.S. mail. Shout out to Crypto Cowpoke. Yeah, guys, this is all play money, right? It's only demo accounts. Only demo accounts for entertainment purposes. I wouldn't be messing around with real money, obviously. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, the scariest thing is BlackRock getting control of the markets. Alan, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Creighton C, says smash those like buttons. Yeah, guys, if we get 1,000 likes, if we get 950 likes on today's stream, I'll spin the wheel 20 times for Monday. We'll start off with 20 spins, and maybe we'll add something cool to the giveaway. 950, we spin it 20 times. 1,000 likes, I give away a free month of the Premium Discord. And then we're going to chill on the Premium Discord giveaways, because we're going to have more free people in there than people paying, which, honestly, I don't hate. But anyway, let's continue on here. Taking a look at the DXY, guys. If you did not know, The DXY moves inverse to Bitcoin typically, or inverse to risk on assets. So when the DXY winds up getting a move down, typically Bitcoin gets a move up. This is not news to anybody if you're, been looking at the markets, or, if you know what the DXY is, you generally know how it affects Bitcoin. Crimson said, Frankie sends money through the mail. I thought those were food stamps. Oh, God. Yeah, shout out to Laser Edits. Shout out to you, bro. Are you an editor? A video editor? Let me know. Let me know if you are. Asking for a friend. Let's see. Do you have an in-depth video on Femex and how to read unrealized P&L, why I always get way less than shown? Michael Snelling, shout out to you, bro. I do have a video on Femex. Yeah, I do. Maybe one of the mods can link that video. But if you have any specific questions, I could try to answer it there. One reason why you may be getting less than it shows could be fees. Fees obviously are going to get charged. So that could be potentially, I don't know how much gains are getting eaten up. But yeah, if you have any specific questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer them. All right, let's see. Shout out to Creighton C. Yeah, just listen to Creighton C. He's in charge of likes. So whatever he says, get us to. Sorry, Creighton. I'm not trying to mess up your plan, brother. Shout out to Creighton C. But let's continue on here. God. Oh, my God. Rob the Crypto Snob is so quick with the links. Shout out to you. There you go, Michael Snellen. You could go ahead and watch that. If I don't answer the question in the video, come back and ask me, and I'll try to get it. I'll try to get you the answer. Now, looking at the DXY, guys, I do think, now this is kind of, this is interesting, right? Now, the daily has been in the red for quite some time here. However, when we come up to the higher time frames like the weekly, I actually like the story being told here. Look at the money flow coming to the downside here on the DXY. Money flow coming straight out, right? Let's go ahead and right here, we had money flow coming out, right? I did this on the stream on Friday, I believe. But look at this, money flow coming out. Money flow coming out. This is all on the weekly time frame. It almost always results. I actually don't know if I would count this because we weren't really in the red for very long there. But either way, guys, if you look at this last money flow crossover into the red, gave us a big move down, right? To the tune of about, let me try to get a measurement here. Right about here, right? About 9%. If we got something similar, let's say we cross over around here, right? About 9% would bring us pretty low to about 92, 52, 93 is, it's going to depend on where the actual candlesticks are when we get that money flow crossover. But the point here is, guys, money flow crossover into the red, big move down. Money flow crossover into the red, sizable move down, right? Like if you go to like any real move to the downside, like even here, big move down, right here, big move down, right here, massive move down, right? And basically, if we wind up getting this move, guys, it could wind up being pretty bullish for Bitcoin. And I'll just do it again. I did this last time. Go ahead and pull up Bitcoin on one end and pull up the DXY on the weekly on the other end. And I'm just going to kind of show you guys like how this kind of compares, right? And you can see my cursor on both screens, right? You can see my cursor on both screens. So I'm going to come onto the Bitcoin chart, right? And I'm going to show you guys. At the top of the top of the bull market, right? I'm actually more of a believer that this was the actual all-time, top of sentiment. This was obviously the all-time high price-wise, but I think once we topped out here, that was essentially the top of the bull market. This was essentially a inflated dead cat bounce. I don't think this was supposed to be a higher high, but it was kind of inflated dead cat bounce before going into the bear market. However, whether you're looking at this top or this top, as soon as Bitcoin started coming down, obviously we got a big move up here on the DXY, right? You could see the cursors lining up with that. So your bottom for the DXY was right about here, right? Or yeah, your bottom was here, but we really wound up coming up and Bitcoin started to absolutely nuke. So let's come back to 2017. 2017, we got the top of the bull market coming in right here. And as we came down into the bear market, obviously the DXY wound up getting this big move to the downside. And, if you look right here, right at the halving, right around where we hit the halving, right? Like right here. See my cursor on the Bitcoin chart on the right-hand side. Right near where we got that halving, right before that big bull market run for Bitcoin. The weekly money flow on the DXY right here came into the red and gave us a big move down, giving Bitcoin a ton of room to run up in this bull market, right? And then 2017, you did come into the weekly, into the red on the weekly for a little bit, and then it came back into the green, but we still obviously had our bull run. But just looking at that, guys, if we get that money flow crossover into the red, zoom out a little bit. If we get that money flow crossover into the red, like look where this money flow crossover into the red happened right here. I guess I was wrong. I was looking at the wrong spot. Right here, 2017, money flow crossover in the red. Ah, come on. Dang it. There we go. The money flow crossover into the red right here. That was the 2021 bull run. The money flow crossover into the red before that was right here. Now, I don't know exactly what the date of the halving was in 2016, 2017, but you could see money flow was basically coming out from the top right here. And that was basically, if I had to guess, I don't know exactly when the halving was. I wish I had my cycle chart on here. But you could see DXY topped out right here with our money flow, started trending to the downside on the weekly, and that's where you got a big move down from the top, and then the money flow crossover into the red gave you the big move down, and that was all during our bull market, right? And we are in a very, very similar spot right here. Our money flow topped at the peak of the DXY. The DXY is absolutely dumping as money flow comes out. And what is happening to Bitcoin? Bitcoin is moving up as the money flow is coming out on the DXY, just like it was back here. Let me just zoom in a little bit, right? Just like it was back here. We hit the top right here with our top on money flow, right? And the DXY peaks out as money flow comes down right here. Money flow coming down on the weekly. Bitcoin starts to get a little bit of a pump. And then when it crosses into the red, you get your parabolic bull run. So I'm not saying that as soon as we cross over into the red on the weekly for DXY, we're absolutely going to run to 100K. But you can see things are matching up pretty equally here. Things are not looking too bad. And the fact that the DXY is actually looking pretty bearish on the weekly, money flow coming to the downside, with the money flow crossover in the red on the horizon. This could take time, right? This isn't going to happen tomorrow. We could wind up bing-bonging around. It could come back up a little bit, whatever. We might not cross over until, April 2024. Who knows? But it is headed in the right direction for a potential parabolic bull run to be somewhat on the horizon in the medium term, right? So the DXY, in my opinion, on the higher time frames is looking right on track with the 4-year cycle. Doesn't mean it's 100% guaranteed, but it's very interesting. Now, on the lower time frames, the daily, money flow's been in red for quite some time here. But on the DXY, you can see you do potentially, you can spend a lot of time in the red and a lot of time in the green, as this is not as volatile as Bitcoin. Almost. But that's basically what I'm looking at, guys. Keeping an eye on the higher time frames on the DXY. And everything else is basically noise. So, when you zoom out, guys, like if you guys have watched my, is the bull market beginning video, in the macro, guys, it seems like we're right on track, to be 100% honest with you. Not financial advice. Again, I do expect the rest of this bear market to not just be a straight line up or a straight line sideways. I actually am, a big move to the upside and then a big move down back to double bottom is a possibility. I'm not saying it's not that clean cut, right? But in the grand scheme of things, if you're looking at a higher term perspective, everything else is noise, and that DXY could be pointing to our next bull run not being that far away. And by not far away, I don't mean a week from now, right? I mean probably within the next, when the halving comes, right? That's what you're really looking for. And even when the halving comes, you're not looking for an absolute parabolic run as soon as the halving happens. The day after the halving, you're going to get a big run up. Right? That's typically not how it works. Typically, it's kind of uneventful. The halving happens, maybe you get a little bit of a pump, maybe you get a little bit of a dump. You kind of just range around, bing bong a little bit, and then finally you get that parabolic bull run. So, again, it's likely not going to be that easy to predict, but we can only use, really all we can do is use past to try to predict the future, right? So that's what I'm looking for on the DXY. Nice and quick on that kind of. Now let's take a look at Ethereum. Take a look at Ethereum. Let's see, or Erythrium, as your grandmother might call it. And here we go. I will just touch on this really quickly because I don't know if we talked about this since it happened. But as you guys know, as we were getting this move down towards our gold box here, we were looking for a potential bounce out of these levels. Didn't necessarily know that it was going to be the bottom of this big move, but we got the level to hold. I believe we put in some bullish divergences somewhere, maybe on the 2 hours, probably where it happened. Yeah, 2 hour bull div into our local or our macro kind of support area here before getting that big move up. And again, we would have expected this to be a big move, right? Because money flow is coming up as well as our bullish divergence. Momentum also coming up here. So we got to hold this as support, which was pretty nice, right? Because if we zoom out here, come on, computer, you could do it. There we go, right? We lost our macro value area low, right? Just like on Bitcoin, right? I'm actually going to get rid of some of these lines just to clean stuff up a bit. Yeah, this wound up playing out perfectly, almost exactly as we expected it to. Haven't gotten this leg up yet, but who knows? It might come. But looking here, guys, we lost our value area low, right? Boop, we lost that range. But now we have come back up, and we are flirting with that value area low once again. And just like Bitcoin, guys, if we're able to flip this to support, I would expect a big move, or not really a big move, but a decent move back up to our point of control here at about 1819 or 1818, right? Just playing the volume profile on Ethereum. Just simply looking, Ethereum is not a security, by the way. Yeah, money flow is always positive. No, money flow is negative when it's in the red. I don't know. Shout out to Christian. No, money flow is not always positive. I don't know if that was like it might have been a joke. I don't know. But if it wasn't, no, money flow is definitely not always positive. It is either in the green or for in my case, blue. That is positive. And then negative would be in the red. Shout out to the Izzy. Thank you so much for that $5 super chat. Said, see, you heard it from Frankie. We're going to $1 million tomorrow. Smash that like button if you want crypto to pump. Shout out to the Izzy. I don't know if I fully agree with what you just said, but I'm just going to roll with it. Thank you for the super chat, bro. And, yeah, smash that like button if you guys want this thing to pump. And, yeah, the Izzy, I really do appreciate that. And is that a good boy in your picture? I don't know what that is a picture of. It's very small. It could be like a person standing on a beach for all I know, but it does look like a potentially good boy or good girl. Let me know because we support all doggos on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. Actually, I might just buy a dog so it could sit on my desk like a little French bulldog just so we could sit here all stream. And I would name it something hilarious like, mark my words, if I get a French bulldog, guys, I'm naming it Walter. So there you go. The Izzy with another super chat. Thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate you. Said that was definitely financial advice from Izzy, not me. I can't verify if Izzy's a financial advisor, but what I can tell you for sure is I am not a financial advisor. Do not listen to me ever. I'm a crazy man. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on here. Taking a look at Ethereum, right? Ethereum, actually. Is Ethereum looking a little different than Bitcoin? Let's check. Yeah, it's looking a little bit different than Bitcoin, to be 100% honest with you. Oh, Creighton C, do not tell me Frenchies are awesome, dude. I do not need another reason to FOMO into buying a dog. I'm just kidding. I'm actually not in a position right now to get a dog. Soon, guys, soon. But yeah, as soon as it becomes possible, I will. I don't have enough property for a dog. Maybe a French bulldog, but I don't have enough room for like a dog. I really want a German short hair pointer, but I have 2 of those back in New York. But anyway, continuing on here, guys. Take a look at Ethereum. Money flow in the red here on the 1 hour. Take a look at the 2 hour. 2 hour money flow coming up. I don't know if I would trust that 1 hour money flow crossover on the 1 hour. But we're obviously testing this area of resistance. Let me zoom out again so we can get some context into what we're looking at. But yeah, honestly, here's the thing. Key level of support on Ethereum, 100% is going to be right here at 1728. If we can hold that value area low, 1730, right? We'll call it 1730. If you could hold above 1730, I would potentially look for a bigger move up to your point of control, again, getting closer to about 1818. We got to hold this level, though. I don't know if I'm convinced just yet. We're kind of flirting with it. 2 hour looks like it. Yeah, 1 hour. 1 hour looks like it wants to cool off. 4 hour. Fresh green dot on the 4 hour. Ethereum. Ooh. I will say this. Money flow. Excuse me. On the 4 hour. Nice curvature here. Green dot printing. May be able to get a push up here. Let me find some of these levels for you. Bear with me, guys. Just trying to let me work some magic here. Let me see something. Ooh, okay. All right, I just tried to work my magic. Didn't give me anything. Sorry, guys. Crystal ball only works sometimes. But I will say this, guys. That 4-hour green dot could potentially give you a bigger move to the upside. I'm going to come down to the 1 hour. I'm actually going to go ahead and let me go ahead and hide some of this stuff just to clear some things up, right? I want to take a look at this range that we've kind of caused here. We got up, down, up, down, up, down. I like to see what's going on, so I'm going to pull the range. So here we are, right? Just kind of sitting in our range. And again, you have to keep in mind that your key level of support is going to be that value area low, right? Let's wait for it to spawn. There we go. Love using the word spawn. But here we go, right? This is your key level. I will go ahead and label this key. Value area low. Here we go. VAL, value area low, and it's going to be key. There you go. Boom. Key, value area low. If you can hold this as support, it may open up the door to come up to your point of control. Again, at 1818. It does not mean we're going to get a straight shot up to 1818. We have a local golden pocket here starting at about $1,800. You also have that psychological level there as well. So if we wind up getting a move up to this level, I would look for resistance here. However, if we hold support on the value area low, due to the laws of the volume profile, you will expect to potentially get a move back up to your point of control, and then eventually flip this to get to your value area high. It's a little too soon to tell. I'd like to see some more 4-hour candle closes above this level, and I'd like to get a little bit higher, right? I'd like to maybe come up and then test it one more time. But we could break it down into this kind of local range here. And we are coming up to a local value area high. I would look for the 4-hour green dot to give you a move to the upside. If you look at our lower time frames, money flow on the 15-minute generally coming to the upside, I would look for a potential, hey, maybe you get a little bit of this. 15-minute red dot brings you down. Maybe you get some confirmations. Maybe you wick down here, put in a bullish divergence, right? I don't want to give it all away here, but, value area low is going to be key. If you can find if you can find some kind of bullish confirmation up here, potentially hold that as support, that's where you're likely to get your move to the upside. It does look like we might just be kind of lagging a little bit behind Bitcoin, right? Looking at the 4-hour, this is almost exactly what Bitcoin's 4-hour looked like before we got that pump today. Taking a look at Bitcoin now, right? Before we got that move from the low of our local range back to the high here, very similar, right? 4-hour VWAP came back up, printed that green dot. We got a nice little green Lambo candle here on the 4-hour before getting rejected at our level of resistance here, right? So I would kind of potentially maybe see something very similar here. I would be looking, at these kind of range highs for some resistance. I would look for this I would expect this to play out very similar to Bitcoin, potentially. But really, your kind of takeaway here is if you flip this value area low at 1730 to support, that's what you want to see, just like we saw on Bitcoin holding its macro value area low. Come on. Oh, we don't have the range on this chart. Sorry. Come on. Just like Bitcoin's doing right here, right? Come on. There we go. Right here. Flip it to support, you get the move up. That's what we're looking for on Ethereum. And again, that 4-hour green dot could be giving it to you. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. That momentum looked like the W in Wu-Tang. Shout out to Honda, man. What is going on, bro? Let's see. Dachshunds. Oh, you guys are talking dogs in the chat. You guys are trying to distract me because I will talk dogs all day long. All right, let's continue on here, guys. Let's see. Bart Simpson on the 20-minute. Potentially. On Ethereum? I don't know if you're looking at Bitcoin or Ethereum. Largemouth bass are spawning now. You guys are funny. Let's see. How do you enter the giveaways, Austin? We will be putting out a pre-recorded video, and you can't yet. That's the kind of thing. When we put out our pre-recorded videos, the mods will let you know what videos you got to like, comment, and be a subscriber of the channel. You got to like and comment on specific videos, and that will kind of be how you enter, or not kind of. That will be how you enter. Let's see. Let's see. Shout out to Dave Digital. All right, let's see. ETH has 20%, moving it down. I think he's saying it's going to go down 20%. Is that what you're saying, Creighton? Potentially. All right, let's see. Deathburger said, why don't I like to trade ETH? It's not that I don't like to trade ETH. I actually put a ETH long setup in the premium Discord today. It's not that I don't like to trade ETH. I used to actually favor trading ETH because it gives you a bigger percentage move. But that is basically it gives you a bigger percentage move, right? Just because of the market, the nature of market cap, right? I don't know. I'm getting so distracted by chat. Sorry. The reason I don't trade it is basically I would trade ETH. I used to trade ETH more than I traded Bitcoin simply because I wanted those big percentages, but it doesn't take a long time that you see a setup on ETH and it looks great and you get into the trade and then Bitcoin dumps and you get absolutely wrecked on that ETH trade. And that is kind of where I started to focus just more on Bitcoin because everything follows Bitcoin, right, for the most part, right? So you can see a fire setup on XRP and it could look super bullish, and then you get into a long position, and then Bitcoin decides to dump, and then all those signals on XRP are basically useless, and you'll wind up just getting wrecked, right? So it's not that I don't like trading ETH, but I definitely trade Bitcoin more often just because I don't have to worry about keeping an eye on a million other things or keeping an eye on another asset in order to keep track of what it's going to do, right? So it's really, if you're a beginner, I would not caution you, but I would probably point you in the direction of just sticking with Bitcoin just to avoid that. But now, I trade ETH. I'll trade ETH more now. But it was kind of more, I just kind of point people against trading ETH if they're just starting out. Or if you are going to trade ETH and you like to trade ETH, just be aware that you got to keep an eye on what Bitcoin's doing. All right, let's see. ETH charts were long. ETH charts were long the best charts to trade. Levels often being well respected. Yeah, Helen, like I said, I used to trade ETH more than I traded Bitcoin, and then I just got sick of they were just like it was actually there was like 2 trades specifically that I just got wrecked on just because I was like I just should have checked Bitcoin right before I got in, and I didn't. But yeah, it's just nothing. It's not that I don't like it. I just 1500 ETH in the next 2 weeks, I think they said. Shout out to the locker room. Hey, I hope so. I'm not done accumulating ETH. But let me take a look at ETH real quick again. Yeah, it honestly does look like it's setting up to do something very similar to Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and move on to XRP, which is our next altcoin. Shout out to the XRP army. Let's go. All right. Oh, here we are. Wow. XRP loves our levels, guys. Really enjoys our levels. Let's go ahead and spawn our volume profiles while I take a sip of water. Green Hour. Shout out to Crazy Nuts. Says Green Hour on the 4 dot. Shout out to Dave Digital with the dog emojis. Dave, do you have a dog? Let me know. Shout out to Dave Digital. Also, have you called the police on anyone today, Dave? Let me know. All right, let's see. Okay. Let's see here, right? So, yeah, XRP, just absolutely respecting the levels. Oh, man, I wish I wish I knew. I'm almost positive, guys, and I never like to say we look at something or call for something if I'm not 100% positive. So correct me if I'm wrong. You guys will probably know if I'm wrong or right. But I think we were looking, as we were breaking down here, at our next key levels likely, and I'm really just basing this off of the way I do TA, like where would I be looking if we broke down from this value area. As you guys know, we got these value area levels from this range up here. Value area high, POC, value area low. We extrapolated those levels to this range up here. We said, hey, if we break back into that value area, we will likely bing-bong around in these levels. Perfectly respected those levels. I mean, almost perfectly respected those levels before absolutely losing the range. And, where's the next likely spot for price to go if we lose this range? Well, simply, I'm just going to zoom out and see if we have another value area, which we do. We have a macro value area here. This is a weird-looking range. However, we had our previous value area high right here with a local golden pocket as well from this entire move to the upside, right? Yeah, this was definitely from last week, 100%. We definitely talked about this. You guys, if I didn't call it in chat, let me know. But this is definitely what we were looking at just by reverse engineering this TA. It's definitely what we were looking at last week. As we lost this range, where's the next likely place for, and even if we weren't talking about it, where's the next likely place for price to go? It's probably going to go down and test that previous value area high, especially when it's in perfect confluence with your local golden pocket retracement. Again, pulling that fib, Simply, if you come up, let's come up to a higher time frame. Just to simplify it, right? You got this big move to the upside. So once you get a rejection, or you could even consider this whole move, right? Just whole move up. Once you get a rejection, you can pull your fib. And you can pull it from the low to the high, right? From the low of the move to the high. And you get perfect confluence with your value area high, right? Same fib we just had there. So where is price likely to at least get a bounce? That golden pocket and value area high is perfect confluence to get a bounce from that level. And we did. And where's your next likely spot of resistance going to be? Well, if you break down out of one value area and you go bounce off the next one, you're going to potentially bearishly retest that previous value area that you were just living in. And that is where you could potentially get a rejection and then come back down to this value area if we break below this level. The value area high at about 46 cents. If we break below this level, it is likely that we are going to get sucked back into this range. Now, I'm not ready to entertain that as an idea until we break the level, but this is going to be a key level of resistance or support, 46 cents, 0.4672 cents. Very key level for XRP. Now, we also have the 786 right down here at about 0.44 cents. That is another key level to watch. If we do lose this value area high and we get another move down, I would hope that we can get a strong bounce off that 786. Probably going to be, a last hope, if you would, if you will, right? And let me just pull this real quick. Okay. Anyway, that's what I'd be looking for, guys. Potential rejection here. Taking a look at the indicators. Money flow generally coming out on your 5-hour. Taking a look at the 4-hour. Yeah, shout out to Helen's favorite Dutch. Happy birthday to Rob the Crypto Snob, guys. Forgot to say that in the beginning of the stream. Okay, let's see. Shout out to Hobble Crypto. Hodl Crypto saying, bounce, baby, bounce, baby, bounce. Let's go. Okay, so let's see. As far as the indicators, 4-hour money flow on the way to the downside. Green dot printing. If right now your goal for XRP for higher prices is to crack that value area, we're just right back to here, guys. Right back to here. What were we saying back here? Well, if you crack above this level, look to flip the value area low to support, and then you're likely to go to the high. Right? Same thing here. If you could flip this to support, find that support right here, I would expect to potentially come to the POC and then eventually the value area high. Same thing applies. Just looking at the volume profiles. That's simply what we're looking for. However, I'll try to give you guys the likelihood of breaking above this. Money flow coming to the downside, right? And you had bearish divergence here. Multiple drives of bearish divergence. Momentum coming out. Price coming up. Money flow coming out. That was likely to dump, right? Looking for the money flow crossover into the red. If you can't break this, I would be looking for a potential rejection. And oh, God, man. Oh, God, you're so close. I would look for a potential bearish divergence here on XRP at the previous value area low. Yeah, 1-hour VWAP looking to cool off. 45-minute VWAP flip. You're kind of bing-bonging around here, but looking at the money flow on your 1 hour, and not only that, really your 4-hour. Yeah, 3 hours coming out as well. Here's what I'd look for. Oof. Bearish divergence here on the 3-hour into your key level of resistance. Not printing just yet. If you are able to print that divergence, guys, 3-hour bear div, money flow coming out on the 3-hour, as well as coming out on the 4-hour. Not the best look. Not the best look. Money flow coming out on the 4-hour, that is. And momentum. So I would look for a potential rejection here. If you do get rejected, I would look for some support. I mean, you just don't want to lose this value area high. If you reject here, your key level of resistance is going to be that previous value area high of 46 cents. You do not want to lose that level. And if you do, 786 is your last hope, right? So there you guys go. Shout out to getting wicked over. Shout out to Wick. I don't know if that's another Wick 589. Wick 589 Classic. Are you in here? I know Wick's in here. I just don't know what. I don't know. Is that no? Wait, maybe that is Wick. Maybe Wick has not been here the whole time, and that is Wick. Shout out to Wick 589, wherever you are, with whatever name. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for being here. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on. Take a look at Matic. Let's go ahead and check it out. Let's see how long we've been going for. All right, we got some time. All right, let's see. How do I get rid of the colors on my fib? Shout out to Crash. Oh, my God. I was just about to say Rob is probably already shared it, and he has. Go check out that video, bro. I show you all my of my settings for my fibs, how to get them to look just like mine. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at Matic. Is this what we were looking at last week? Or I guess probably. Or no. Yeah, maybe. 16th? Yeah, this is definitely what we were looking at last week. So last week, we were, on Friday, during the show, we were probably at this value area high, saying if we want higher prices, you got to get above that value area high, flip it to support, and then potentially get a move up to our next Fibonacci rejection zone. We did not get that, obviously. We actually got what was more likely, which was a rejection from the value area high right back down to the POC. And right now, if we don't crack that value area high, it's more likely for us to come back down to our value area low, which is sitting at about 57 cents. But let me just go through the indicators real quick before we dig into the levels here. Daily on Matic, looking to potentially roll over here. Money flow cruising in the right direction. I just don't know if you're ready to get that money flow to shoot you up right now. Take a look at your 16-hour. Oh, VWAP flip on your 16-hour. Matic's trying to fake everybody out right now. Let's come down to some of these lower time frames. Green dot printing on your 8-hour, coming down to these lower time frames. Looking at money flow, 24-minute money flow has crossed over. 30-minute, not very convincing. Let's take a look at the 6-hour. Green dot confirmed. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. Yeah, money flow looks pretty good here, to be honest. As far as, coming from the red, going back into the green. You can see here, cruising to the upside, fake out into the green, fake out into the green. But what's important here is that you have made multiple higher lows. Low, higher low, higher low, right? So money flow is trending to the upside. We have not spent much time in the green since all the way back here in May, right? So if we get that money flow crossover, I would potentially look to bing bong around for Matic a little bit. Maybe you come back down to your value area low one more time. Due to the laws of the volume profile would be calling rejection of the value area high. Price action is messy. Value area, just looking at the price action in the volume profile, it would be calling for a potential move back down to your value area low, which would give you a little room to have the 2 or the 1. Yeah, let's see. Is the 1 hour? Yeah, it would give you time to have the 1, 2, 3, and the 4-hour to potentially cool off, give you that move back down to the low of the range, and then once you get that, maybe the VWAP comes down, money flow kind of bing-bongs around, and then when you get that money flow crossover a little bit lower, that's where you get that move back up to the high of the range, and then potentially flip that to support, and then get that big move up to our next level here that we were looking at last week, potentially happening. Shout out to Dora Escobar. Shout out to you. Says, I love the candle, familia. Well, Dora, we love you right back. Let's go. Shout out to you. Let's see. What's good, fam? Just catching the end. Shout out to John Davis. Thank you for being here, bro. Let's see. Remember when Matic was a thing? Shout out to Creighton. Let's see. Stupid question, but what's your money flow multiplier period on Market Cypher B? I can pull it up in a second. Let me see. It's default, if that helps you out. I just changed the colors. Let's see. Money flow multipliers. Where is that? Probably here. No, I don't even think you could change it on Market Cypher. But there you go. I have a video showing all of my settings for Market Cypher if you want to check that out. But yeah. Anyway, let's see. Glad I caught the last bit. Thank you, Frankie. You the man. I'm serious, man. You are the sauce. Shout out to Fit in Crypto. Shout out to Fit in Crypto. Speaking of fit, I'm going to the gym after this, guys. We're going to try to get back on the old horse. Try to work out again. Pray for me. It's been quite a while, guys. Shout out to John Davis. Said, love you, Frankie. Catch you whenever possible. Shout out to John Davis. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. But, yeah, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's go ahead and continue. But here we go. That's what I'd be looking for on Matic. Money flow looks pretty decent, but I just don't know if you're ready for that massive rip immediately. I would look to either consolidate a little more or potentially get that move back down to a lower range, in which case I would look for longs at that low because money flow is coming up. So if you get gifted that move back to the lower end of the range, which, again, is not promised, I would look for a potential bullish entry there to potentially ride it back up to the high of the range. Let's see. Attaboy, Frankie. Shout out to B-Team Crypto. Is it safer to buy crypto using Bitcoin just in case the U.S. government bans stable coins? I'm afraid I won't be able to cash out my crypto if I'm tied to a stable coin that gets banned. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Kryptonic. If you bought Bitcoin with USDT, meaning you take your USDT and buy Bitcoin, you can then take your Bitcoin and sell it to something different or swap it for something different depending on what you're using. So it shouldn't really matter if I'm understanding that question correctly. Put some beef in them calves. Let's go, baby. I haven't showed off the calves in a while, guys. You guys are due for a little calf shot, I think. Maybe a little calf cam this week. I don't know. Let's see. Shout out to Dylan said, wait, you got to start over. Shout out to Dylan Carr. Okay, we will. We will start over in just a second. Shout out to Dylan. Let's see. Love your content. Shout out to AJG Crypto 007. Shout out to you, man. I love your content. I don't know if you make content, but I like you as a person, is what I'm trying to say. But let's see. Nemesis says, Frankie, do you dink? I think that's a calf workout. I don't dink. I actually just do calf raises. Actually, fun fact, I don't work out my calves at all. That's about it. No, I'm just kidding. I know what you're saying, Nemesis. Yes, not really a lot, to be honest. Occasionally. Kind of just gives me a headache, to be honest with you. I feel like such an old man. But shout out to Nemesis. But let's go ahead and continue on here. That's what I'd be looking for on Matic, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to Render. Bada boom, bada bing. Here we go. Clean chart. All right, let's take a look. Oh, look at the 4-hour trigger wave. Oh, baby. Money flow starting to cruise back up again. Look at, you spent some time in the green. You spent some time in the red. It might be time to come back into the green here just a little bit, guys. Just a little wee bit. So that I would watch out for that. Nice little trigger wave on the 4-hour as we are getting a move to the upside. This is confirmed. And let's go ahead and take a look at the daily. Daily, VWAP cooling off. VWAP cooling off. Money flow in the red. And we have, yeah, ooh. Render is interesting here, guys. Render is, yeah, Crypto Poyo said, known fact, pecking is a great workout. Shout out to Crypto Poyo. What's going on, brother? Yeah, I'm just in the gym, just pecking metal. Pecking metal. Shout out to Crypto Poyo. Let's see. So yeah, God, daily actually telling a little bit of a different story here, guys. Money flow freshly in the red on the daily with your VWAP coming down. Not really what I'd like to see. This is kind of a short to lower high situation, at least for me. So if I was looking at a local golden pocket, ooh, I would look for a potential push up into these levels before potentially rolling back over. Yeah, I would be careful here. Right? Because that 4-hour green dot, if that 4-hour green dot pushes you back into this kind of purple box, you're like, what purple box? The purple box I'm about to draw. There you go. If we push back up into this purple box, I might be looking for shorts on Matic, right? Because not only would you be setting up for a 4-hour bearish divergence potentially, but with that daily money flow crossover, really that kind of idea would be based off of, let me delete that real quick. That kind of idea would be based off of the money flow in the red, freshly in the red with the VWAP coming down. Once that red dot prints on the daily, you're likely to continue that move down into the red, which would likely cause price to continue down. So in the short term, if that 4-hour green dot does push you back up into this box, I would look for a potential short position. Now, I don't know if I would, yeah, I mean, first off, I would look to potentially short it, right? Like we're back at the value area high here, right? Back at the value area high locally. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. Back at the value area low locally. Let's pull this back here. So kind of already looking for shorts here. If you deviate back into this purple box, I'd look for the 4-hour. Money flow coming on your 1 hour. No bearish divergence, but if you pushed into the purple box, you would get a 1 hour bear div. And money flow coming out on the 1 hour. What are your higher time frames doing? 12 hour looking for the red dot. 16 hour also looking for the red dot. Yeah, I'd be looking for shorts on Matic. I'd be careful of a potential push into the golden pocket, but if you get a signal here, I would look to short this potentially back down to the value area low, coming in at about $1.87, and then locking in partial profits. And the reason I would lock in partial profits here and hold a little bit of that trade to potentially go lower is because that daily money flow crossover into the red is fresh, right? It is fresh. So that would indicate that the momentum to the downside may continue, right? So that's what I'd be looking for on render. All right, let's take a look at Sui. Chop Sui. Let's see it. That's Rui. Not to be confused with Sui. There is Sui, and then there is Rui. Anyway, taking a look here. Sui Tether KuCoin. Hey, fam, I'm on my phone, so limited to chat. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Shout out to Bitcoin Chicken. Let's go. Shout out to you. Where's Crypto? What's his name? I know I call him, Ham Wizard, right? Or Bitcoin Magician. Where's Ham Wizard been? Shout out to Ham Wizard, or Bitcoin Magician, as I like to call him, not to be confused with Crypto Pollo or Bitcoin Chicken, as I like to call him. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. I know render's a use case. That's why. Oh, did I say Matic when we were looking at render? Sorry about that. That's why I put this. That's why I have the watermarks here. Just because I look at so many coins so fast that sometimes it's hard to remember exactly what we're looking at, especially when we're zoomed in on lower time frames. Let's see. Okay, let's continue on here. Big Magician. Yeah, shout out to Rob. Let's go. Let's see. Okay, so taking a look at Sui. Sui getting a nice little somewhat of a recovery here from the lows here at about 51 cents. Yeah, I think my Sui bag is probably positive now. Potentially at break even. But here we are, taking a look at the daily. Kind of hard, right, with Sui because it doesn't have a lot of price history, so it's kind of hard to call this. However, VWAP on the daily could potentially be rolling back to the downside. I'd be cautious, especially approaching that POC. Yeah, 16-hour got some support on the 0 line. I'd be careful here, guys. I'd be careful. 12-hour. Yeah, would be careful of these red dots on the higher time frames. Take a look at the 6-hour. Yeah, I would be careful. I'm going to say it one more time. I'd be careful. Not saying it's going to 0, but let's take a look at some local golden pockets, guys. Bing bong, right at that golden pocket. Let's go ahead and draw it as a range. Boom, bing, right there, right? Not only that, you also have the point of control. So I would actually be looking at a potential rejection anywhere in this purple box. You shoot up to that 786. Could potentially still come back down. Take a look at the 4-hour. Yeah, okay. So I would say this, guys. I would be careful of a short-term pullback. You're hitting a golden pocket. You're right at the POC. A lot of times you will flirt with the POC, get above it, back below it, get above it, back below it. This is a macro point of control, right? So you wouldn't really be directly trading based off of this unless you were swing trading. Shout out to Eric Bonici. Yeah, I had a feeling that I did that. It's hard to catch, but yeah. If anybody's ever wondering, like, hey, he just said ETH, but we're looking at Matic or whatever it is, right? It's harder with the altcoins, right? Because if I'm looking at Bitcoin and the price is in the 26,000s, right? It's kind of hard for me to mistake that for Ethereum. But I have these watermarks on my charts. If you're ever confused on what I'm looking at, just simply look at the watermark. The watermark will never be wrong. I might have a slip of the tongue. Taking a look here, right? Coming up that golden pocket, also at the point of control, right? So like when you're looking at the higher time frame, right? Like looking at the daily, right? Like we're kind of flirting with that POC, starting to break out a little bit. But I would be careful of a potential short-term pullback, right? Potential bearish divergence on the 4-hour could bring us to the downside. Let me see where we could potentially expect that to bring us. Let me go ahead and pull a local range here, come down to a lower time frame. If we do wind up getting a move down, I would potentially look to scalp that to this local value area low at about 74 cents. I would also be looking to get some confluence with a golden pocket, which you have perfectly right here. Look at that. Bing bong. There it is, guys. If you get that short to present itself and you wind up coming down, you did put in this 30-minute bear div as well. Yeah, 1 hour cooling off. No divergence on the 1 hour. But if you do get that cool off, I'd look for a push into this golden pocket for a potential bounce, right? So if you're in that position, or potentially if you do wind up taking a trade that looks like that, I would look to scalp it down to this golden pocket. But, you know, with all that being said, zooming out a bit, you would expect we came down to the value area low. And again, this is hard to call because it's such a new asset, right? There's not a lot of history. But we've come to the low of the range. If we get above that POC and hold it, we would expect to come to the high. So and with the 4 hour money flow looking this good, and a 5 hour money flow looking that good, and the 4 hour looking for the crossover here, guys. So this is likely going to continue the movement to the upside if we get that crossover, or at least that's what we see more often than not. But with this divergence forming, I would be careful of some potential consolidation or a little bit of a cool off before getting that next leg to the upside. Another key level I would look at would be this golden pocket as well. Be from this low to that high. I would also watch this level down here for a bounce at about, I'll just read it off the fib, 0.6897 cents. That would be another level I'd watch. So locally, you could potentially scalp that to this level. And if you break down more, I would look for a bounce here. So it's all about the context. Again, looking for a scalp trade, a day trade. But in the macro, I would just look for kind of bing-bonging around until you're able to hold that POC and then look for a move up to the higher end of the range. All right, let's see. Shout out to Creighton C. So that was a random and odd. With all that being said, really didn't fit. Shout out to Creighton C. You're not wrong. I kind of thought about that. I thought of that when I said it, and it just goes to show that when I say with all that being said, it's basically just a dead air filler, right? Like I basically just say that so there's no dead air. Which is not on purpose. It's why people say They're very uncomfortable. Humans are naturally uncomfortable with pauses, right? It's actually very good. That's like why people say when they're presenting a lot, because they feel awkward having that quiet pause. I don't necessarily feel awkward with the quiet pause. I just feel like it's a little bit more engaging if I fill the gaps, right? Like, because we're doing some TA, right? It's like kind of could get dry very quickly, so it's got to be like boom, boom, bop, bing, bong, bing, bong, right? We got to keep the people going, keep them all spiced up, get them on the Aztecian cactus moss water. This is not open, guys. This is not open. I did not drink any Aztecian cactus moss water today, but that just goes to show how much of a filler word or filler phrase, with that being said, is. All right, let's see. Shout out to Hawkeye. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Super chat says, doesn't something like Sui scare you with less than 1/10 of the supply in circulation? Yes, but it is not always. We talked about this on Blockchain Basement. It's not always as bad as it seems at first glance, right? Yes, 100% valid question, 100% valid point. Because obviously, if they continue to put more of the supply out there and dilute the actual coins in circulation, it would be it causes a lot of downward pressure, right? But it doesn't always necessarily. I'll go into that. I'll maybe make a video about that. It's not necessarily always like an end all be all horrible thing for price. It's kind of situational, depending on. It really depends on the situation. Like literally from project to project. So yes, you have a good point, Hawkeye. This is generally a good thing to keep an eye on. Having good tokenomics has a lot to do with how much price can pump, and is one of the big things that you have to look at when investing. But there's more to it than just seeing will you have a horrible time if you just see only 1/10 of the if most of the coins are not in circulation? If you just pass on those projects, you're probably going to be fine, right? Maybe you probably will avoid the ones that it is going to be bad for, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's 100% going to be bad. It depends on a lot of other mechanics. But just in general, yes, something with everything out there, right, would be a much better tokenomics. Definitely a good point to make. Shout out to FL Sunshine. Frankie with a YouTuber saw. Shout out to FL Sunshine. Let's go. Yeah, definitely something you want to take a look at. I'm going to do probably a series or a playlist on the channel about tokenomics, because I think it's something that we don't talk about enough. I don't think a lot of people talk about enough. So we'll bring it to light, and I'll make it a playlist on the channel because it's very, very important. Let's go ahead and continue on here. Let's go ahead and check out Quant. Here we go. I don't really quant to look at Quant, but I will. I'm just kidding. I like Quant, guys. But anyway, let's take a look here. Okay. Well, I love decoding our lines because like it's so hard to think about what were we looking at here. Well, oh baby, what do we got here, guys? Listen, guys, I don't want to shill. Just so you guys know, I have nothing to gain from shilling the volume profile. This is a free tool on TradingView, or the fixed ranges at least. I have nothing to gain here. I shoved this down everybody's throat simply because it works. But this is going to be a great example, and prepare for the volume profile shilling. Here we go. Here we are. I could guarantee you, this is what we were looking at. Yep, this is Friday. This is exactly what we were looking at. I am actually going to rewind back in time so I can show you guys what we looked for here so you guys can learn and hopefully spot one of these setups before they happen, just like we do. Now, we're looking at Quant. What are we looking at here? We're looking at a macro range. We have our lows down here at about 94 cents. We've got our highs up here at about 138. Bounces at the lows. Deviation back to the low. Hold the low as support. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. But what happens? Right to the value area high. Well, not right to it, but obviously you tap the low. You're expecting to eventually get to the high. You almost get it here. You didn't tap it, though. It's pretty funny. You came really high. If I was in a long here, I might have taken profits here, to be honest with you, because sometimes you don't get all the way to the high. But what happens? When you hold the low as support, you are more likely to come to the high. And even though we got really close here, we didn't go back to the low, guys. We didn't go back to the low until we hit the value area high again. Then we lost the value area high. Next likely place for price to go is the POC. Then you come up for a lower high, and then you get your move down to your value area low, which didn't happen here, and I guess didn't really happen here either. But you got real close. But what were we looking at here, guys? We were looking at our value area low being our key level of support. What else did we have? I don't remember exactly what time frame we were looking at, but I could already see right here on the 8-hour, we could, as we print this red dot here, I would expect the momentum wave to come down something like that. If we put in a higher low, that will be, and price puts in a lower low like this, that will be a bullish divergence on the that would be a bullish divergence on the 8-hour. You wouldn't have really had it from here. We were probably looking at the daily, to be honest. Yes. Is that what we were looking at? Let's see. Kind of hard to remember all this stuff, to be honest with you guys. Let's see. Well, we may have not. Oh, yeah. So that's what we were looking for, probably on the daily, right? Lower lows on our price with higher lows on our momentum waves, right? This is Friday, right? Oh, no. This is Thursday, technically. Let's go ahead a candle. Come on. There we go, right? Yeah, so Thursday, there it is, Friday. So here we are on Friday. We printed the bullish divergence. I don't think we had it at the time of our stream. So we go down to the 4-hour. I would love to see where Friday starts. Hard to say. But anyway, we got a bullish divergence on the daily here, guys, at the value area low of the range. Key level. You want to wait for a price to come into your key level. And then you want to get a bullish trigger, right? Or a bullish confirmation. And we got it. Lower lows on our price action with higher lows on our momentum waves, not only on the daily, but you also had it here on the 4-hour. Your 4-hour bull div would have been really what you wanted to enter in on here, so you could catch this whole move and not miss out. If you waited on the daily, you would have missed this. But on the 4-hour, you got it right here. Let me clear these lines so you guys can see better. There we go. Okay. Right here. Grab our trend line. Lower lows on price. Higher lows on the momentum waves. Money flow trending to the upside. Confirmation of that first bull div you confirmed right here. So you could have entered here, would have gone for a little bit of a ride, or you could have entered in on this green dot, would have got you in on this candle for a ride back to the upside. So simply bullish divergence at your value area low. Bullish divergence at a key level of support, especially when it's a volume profile. We now know that we would expect that move to the upside. And now, let me go to current price action. Obviously, we have eaten up a bunch of those gains here. However, once you get above that, once you hold above that point, now here's the thing. Didn't really come down to test the actual value area low yet. We didn't tap the level. Sometimes price is funny. sometimes, and this one has been respected to the dollar, sometimes price really just wants to touch that low before you get that full rip to the upside. However, I would feel more comfortable. Obviously, that bull div did give you a big move. We've now eaten a lot of that back up. If we had touched this value area low to actually touched it, I would feel more comfortable calling for a bullish divergence or calling for a move back up to the value area high. I would be careful because you didn't actually tap it. But once you hold the support on the low, which again, technically we didn't do here, but you could front run the level as well, right? It's kind of messy. But, as long as we hold above this value area low, we would expect eventually to get to the POC and the value area high of the range. And right now you are printing, is this current price action? This is. You are not printing a bullish divergence on the 4 hour. Can you get it on a lower time frame is the question. Yeah, money flow back in the green on the 24 minute. Let's check the 30 minute. 30 minute coming back up. Check the higher time frames. 16 hour, looking for a green dot. 8 hour. Yeah, I would be careful here, guys. This is a little uncertain. I would rather see price come down and actually tap that value area low, which we have not gotten yet. But we did get that bullish divergence, which even though we didn't get a continued move up, it very rarely do those bull divs, guys, not play out, man. It's crazy, especially on the daily like that. When you get them on the daily, even if it is just a short-term move to the upside, you are likely going to see that bull div wind up playing out. Now, money flow kind of coming up on the daily here. 16 hour, not as clean, but you do have a red dot printing here on the daily. I would look for a potential another push. If we could get this daily to push down and interact with this actual value area low, and we can put in another higher low on our momentum waves, whether it's a higher low like that between these momentum waves, right? And you have a local bullish divergence like that, or if you wind up getting it to actually come down and tap and you get a wave like this, we'll continue that bullish divergence. I would look for longs. If you get gifted with that move back down to this value area low, and you get a daily bull div at that value area low and money flow is continuing to come up, I would be looking for longs on quant. And that is what I'm going to leave you with. Quant is messy. Could just be ranging. Yeah, it could be, totally. You might, and again, that range might be all the way up to here, and then you might just turn all the way back down. But that's what I would look at. I would watch this daily, guys, because that red dot will likely give you a continued move down. If you start to hold this as support, and you print a green dot here, and you get that bull div, I would be looking for some potential long situations. But yeah, guys, that is what we're looking at on the altcoins. Let's go ahead and let's see. Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and start spinning that wheel of pain and pleasure. Shout out to Creighton C. Creighton, I'm just going to make you the like leader of the Mafia. You now have a position here, and you are the like leader. And Creighton says 50 more likes, and Walter and Ollie become besties. Oh, hey. Shout out to Walter, my non-existent dog. But hey, guys, sometimes you got to speak it into existence, right? But guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I am going to go ahead and pull up that picker wheel and go ahead and spin that wheel of pain and pleasure, because you guys know this is where the real money's at, right? Let's see. How many likes did we get? Let's go ahead and check it. 812 likes. Didn't quite get to the goal, guys, but we will still spin it 8 times for you guys. And would you look at that? Tell me that your computer doesn't listen to you, or tell me your computer listens to you without telling me your computer listens to you. I think, guys, we talked about dogs for 5 seconds. Hey, shout out to Karam Bin Kamal. Says, love your stream. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you for tuning in and hanging out with the Candle Mafia. Thank you for being part of the family. We love you. Walter is coming. Lonely Frenchie needs a home. Hey, listen, if you're telling me I got to do something to help out a dog, I'm down. You got to help out the puppies, right? You got to help out the puppies. As my computer starts spamming up with dog ads. Maybe we'll just buy it from an ad on the computer. Nah, it would be sketchy. All right, let's see. Did we get that win? There we go. Give him a giveaway. Starting off Monday strong, guys. Starting off Monday strong. Let's get it. Oh, I forgot to bring home Mrs. Candle's hoodie. Oh, no. Shout out to Chemistry, bro. Chem, bro, you're going to be mad at me, dude. We don't have the hoodies yet ready for the Candle Mafia. They will be ready eventually. We are going to be making we're going to be making some new merch here, but We made a custom crop top hoodie, cropped hoodie for Mrs. Candles. And I forgot to bring it. It's at the office. I forgot to bring it. And I just know DZ's going to, I just know Mrs. Candles is going to look great in that crop top. I know. All right, let's see. Spin numero dos. Rugged on the giveaway. Here we go. Let's see. Helping out the pups is awesome. Shout out to Derek Brown. I really, guys, I talk about this all the time. Oh, no. What did I do? Okay, I don't know. We put an H on this. I don't know what it means. But you got the giveaway, so let's go. Yeah, I say this all the time. I don't know if you can meet a bigger dog person than me. I love when people's dogs come up to me in public, and people are like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's an honor. Trust. He's going to get hair all over you. I'm like, it's an honor. Let your dog put his hair on me. I am like the biggest dog person that you could possibly meet. I like all dogs. But I grew up with dogs. Dogs are a big part of my life growing up. Let's see. Helping out the pups is awesome. Shout out to Derek Brown. Later, everyone. Have a great night. Shout out to Stephen Atwell. Thank you for being here. Frankie, it doesn't listen to you. It knows exactly what you're thinking. Yes, absolutely. I think I read that. Thanks for another night of sauce. Shout out to Eric. Thank you for being here. Still no hoodies. Still no pickles. Shout out if you got that one, you get it. Shout out to the 90s babies. But yeah, shout out to John Davis. Don't tell chemistry, bro. But yeah, they are coming soon. It's like, I feel like someone in a circus, like, balancing plates on the sticks, and I'm like, oh, like one falls, I barely catch it. I'm like, okay, it's we got a lot going on, but the hoodies are coming. Thank you, Frankie, for your great work and great education. Shout out to Kryptonic. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in and spending your Monday with us. Let's go. Let's see. I will adopt a dog quick. Yeah, oh God, if I had more property right now, if I had a bigger yard, yeah, DJ, I am definitely a dog person for real. Awesome live stream and premium live stream. Thanks. Shout out to Crypto Lady. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. And I don't know, maybe she wasn't chatting, but I didn't see you in the premium, but hopefully you rewatched it, or if you were just lurking, you were there live. Shout out to you, Crypto Lady. Thank you for being here. Was that a Hey Arnold reference? Shout out to Crimson. That was a SpongeBob reference. Shout out to Hey Arnold, too, though. I used to always want his room, right? He had the remote that opened up his couch. That was the coolest thing ever. Always wanted that. All right. Oh, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 8 giveaways, guys. That's a 50-50 hit rate. We can't be doing that. I'm going to give you guys one more spin and see if we can get it. Do it for the doggos. Extra spin for the doggos. And 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. He's considering the dog's needs over him. Yes, Creighton. Yes. Yes, if Mrs. Candles was not with me, guys, I'm gonna beat this wheel, or we're gonna be here all night. We don't do 50-50 hit rates, guys. We don't get 4 giveaways out of 8 spins, and we definitely don't do 4 out of 5. We don't. Oh, this wheel, guys. You know what? Luckily, I am a dictator, and I get to control what's on the wheel. So let's see if we can get a win now. Hey, Arnold was my favorite. Me too. 25 more likes. Show the love, baby. Shout out to Creighton C. Give him a giveaway. I was not ending until we got another giveaway there, guys. We got 5 giveaways out of 12. Still not great, but we're starting off the week with 5 giveaways. Shout out to the CandleMafia. And with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I got to head out and go to the gym. So with all that being said, that's all the time I got. Pray for your boy for his first day back at the gym. With all that being said, that's all the time I got for tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy DZ. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. Oh God. No, you go. You go. I don't feel good. That stream was long. I feel my throat hurts. I don't know. I just don't feel good. You go without me. I'll go tomorrow. I'll go tomorrow. Okay. Oh, hey guys. Did I have a headache, guys. I have a headache. So I would keep doing the live. I'm not going to the gym, guys, because I don't feel good. But I would keep doing the stream. I would do a little bit more TA. No, but I don't feel good. I don't feel good. I would do the stream still, guys, but I just don't feel good. I gotta go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed right now, because. Okay. All right, guys. Looks like I'm going to the gym. You heard Mrs. Candles. Anyway, guys, see you tomorrow, same place, same time. Pray for me. Pray for me. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Tyler Ramos.